Today you'll meet an herbalist on a community farm in San Diego, and then we'll go to Spain and visit the walking pilgrimage called Camino de Santiago. We'll talk about leaving behind a career in government to pursue a path of herbalism and plant connection, and our guest will share how she recently helped save a farm goat's life. Then we'll get into how she answered the call to go on pilgrimage despite carrying PTSD around being alone and vulnerable. I originally intended for us also to interview and channel a plant spirit in this episode, but we had so much to talk about that I've made our plant interview its own episode coming soon. I'm your hostess, Natalie Ross, and I hope you enjoy this journey.
All the truth you have within.
I am so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for just being willing to come play with me and co-create this. It's such a pleasure and a joy, so thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's been so much fun already. I was kind of nervous, like I never do these kind of things, but it's just been play and having fun in the garden. So thank you for doing it like that.
My pleasure. Like, what's the point if it's not fun?
I know.
Or if it's not, like, deeply
if it's
healing,
not
right?
healing or having fun.
The hawk is here too.
Yes.
Maybe you can hear it. So do you want to tell us just the name you go by and where are you from? Where do you live now?
Absolutely. So my name is Damiana, and I was born and raised in Mexico City. I'm a first-generation immigrant here in the U.S., and I've been living in San Diego for a little over 4 years now.
Wow.
Yes, I think I want to say almost 5 years. And yeah, I work in a farm here at Wild Willow. My life has changed so much. In Mexico City, I don't know if you or your viewers have been there, but it's a 22 million people
It's huge. That was
place.
like 4 or 5 New York cities.
Yes, probably.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So I wasn't definitely like brought up as a farmer. My parents are engineers. Academics were super important in my life growing up. I went to college in Mexico City, and it was after that I was actually working for the government when I first heard the call to have like a plant path or a different path.
Wow.
And then everything went from there. Yeah, I just like completely changed careers. I started being trained as a green garden teacher. And yeah, I was just like playing gardening, I think, in Mexico City in container gardens at schools. And yeah, from there, just kind of like moving to a different country to learn more about permaculture, getting my degree or my certificate, whatever, and then going back. And then I couldn't, just realizing like I couldn't live in the city anymore. And I have family here in San Diego, so that's when I decided to move here for a little bit. And that little bit is this long now. Yeah.
I love that you didn't always know you'd be a plant person. You had just kind of followed your path and ended up working for the government, and you heard the call and you answered the call. Do you remember what that felt like?
Oh, geez. Yes. It felt like depression, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I was studying, I was a sociologist. That was like my other life. And just, yeah, when you get so deep into like understanding the theory behind what's going on in the world, like it just made me truly depressed. Like I just like spiraled down into a hole where like I couldn't cope with what was going on
In the
world and in Mexico. And just, I've been involved with vulnerable communities since I was 15 and like volunteering different things, being a first responder. And yeah, just kind of like trying to get away as far as I could from the world and from society that brought me to the land. And yeah, it wasn't really like, oh, I hear the call, I think I'm gonna buy some flowers. It was just like, I can't cope. Like I can't live this way anymore. So I'm just gonna like drink, party, get distracted, get numb. And then actually like realizing that the medicine was coming from the earth and that was allowing me to relate with my reality in a different way.
And I love that you so courageously shared that it was like depression, because I think there can be this the call can come through from an ecstatic place, but it can also come from a really dark place that shows you like something is not aligned and right for you, and it leads you down the path to having to discover and discern what is aligned for you. And that's quite a journey, and like that's what led you here, by just honoring that this isn't, something's not right. Something's not
Absolutely.
happening. So before we get any further, can you share who are the people that you come from? What's your heritage? A little bit about that.
Absolutely. Yes, I love sharing about that. I'm mixed, like most people in Mexico. From my indigenous side, I have Yoeme, Yaqui blood from Sonora, and also Nahua indigenous blood from the Center Valley, like Guanajuato and Mexico City.
Wow.
And then I also have Spanish blood, like most of us do. And I'm a quarter Japanese on my mom's father's side. And they come from Machida, a suburb close to Tokyo.
That's so cool. That's such a it's such a neat heritage and mix. Like, who would guess, that, oh, you're also got Japanese in you.
And a lot of people, yeah. And I guess, like, I'm more indigenous looking, but then when Asian people meet me, they're like, oh yeah, I can see it. I can kind of see it, how you were Asian as well.
That's so cool. That's so cool. And then who are the original people of this land you live on now?
The Kumeyaay.
That's so great. And do you want to share anything about them? Do you know anything about just kind of their values or lifestyle or anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, well, they're still here. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, they used to live here and they're gone. They're very much still here in San Diego and in Baja. Mm-hmm. They share a lot. There's community that are really open. I've had the honor of taking a couple of ethnobotany classes with them. So there's a part of the community that's still pretty open to share. And this is also a huge immigration route since forever ago.
Right. We're like literally less than a mile from the border of Mexico. We can see it.
We can see it
We're
from
looking at
here.
Mexico.
We're looking at Mexico right now. We're looking at the border. But even since before borders, the monarch.
A monarch butterfly.
Yay. I got so excited. As we're speaking of migration, right?
Mm-hmm. Right? And they're immigrating.
Perfect. Yeah. A lot of I know that other tribes, other Yaqui people have used this route to exchange knowledge and culture and medicine through here. So a lot of people have passed through.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's great. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And this land, there's just something so vibrant and alive and awake in the land here. This is my first time in San Diego, and I could immediately feel it. It's just it's very powerful. It's a powerful place.
I really feel that way too. Mm-hmm. It's just very mixed too. You can really feel the Latin influence here, and the language, the slang, the people from the States, but from many different places, from many different backgrounds. So it's really rich culturally, I would say.
Cool. It's great. It's been great here so far. So let's zoom in and tell people where we are. We're at Wild Willow Farm. We're basically right near the ocean, right?
Yeah.
So
we're less than 3 miles away from the ocean, actually. We can definitely see that sea,
that marine layer,
that marine layer coming in every day, and you can feel it. So it's good, and it's also not so good. We have to work a lot on the soil because of salinity as well.
Wow.
And but we serve a lot of biocultural and bilingual community here. And this is mostly an educational farm. We have 6 acres, and there's a huge program that's kind of the backbone of the farm that's called Farm School, and they teach everything about farming. We have amazing teachers. Kat and Paul, I don't know who else is teaching right now, but shout out to them. I've learned so much from them. And they also have a CSA program, so we actually do sell the produce that we grow here. We grow a lot of herbs. I'm more involved in that part of the farm. We sell it as well, and we also introduce it with the CSA.
Cool. And tell us more about your roles on the farm. Tell titles and what that actually looks like, you know?
My official title
Yeah, official.
is farm herbalist. I don't know. I don't really have one.
It's
Maybe
great.
like educator
That's
too.
legit. Farm herbalist. And what does that look like in life here on the farm?
Yeah, so I'm involved with all things herbs. I work with my manager, thinking, brainstorming, and deciding like what herbs to plant here in the farm, what would grow well, what would people or other herbalists would be interested in buying, or what do we want to introduce people to, and then a little bit tending to those plants, and then harvesting, processing, selling, and then my main role is kind of hosting knowledge shares. So that looks like many different things. Sometimes it's like events. We have like healing fairs. We have a really beautiful event called Mothering the Mother, and we usually hold it 2 times a year, honoring Mother Earth that lives within everyone. And we offer a lot of different things. Like I run an herbal rustic spa,
Love it.
but we have like a Reiki clinic, and we have massage and other body work, vendors. Like it's just a little bit of everything, movement classes. And then I co-teach with my friend Ana Victoria some immersion herbalism classes, and we do that once a season. And then I do my classes on my own as well. I love working with women, so we also have like cheese making class on herbs, and I do that with Kat, our farm manager, and my friend's sister wife.
Amazing person.
Yeah, the best. So yeah, a little bit of everything. I would say just kind of like knowledge sharing with whoever feels called to.
Cool. And recently, you also got called into, it's not always like happy, easy. There was a really intense situation with the goats. Do you want to share a little bit about just
absolutely.
This is real life herbalism in action and tending to all beings?
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like that really shifted my perspective, like just being in service as an herbalist. I've been focusing a lot on human community, and even like across the border when I had the project with the caravan, it was really focused on the people. And then this time last week, Amber, one of our goats, went into labor, and long story short, she gave birth to 2 stillborns, a baby boy and a baby girl. Male and female, sorry, I humanize everything. So that might trigger some people, but yeah, all my plants, I just do that. So yeah, male and a female, and her pelvis was really, really small, so she couldn't really like give birth to them. So we had to like work with her and support her, literally like pulling the babies out.
Or else she would die. That's amazing.
So it was really intense. I've never, like, that was like my whole initiation into birth work. Like I've never been in birth.
Wow.
Like nowhere. Like I didn't know how it really was.
Wow.
And just being there, I wasn't there for the first baby, but for the second one, the vet was here, and my hands are really tiny. They were the tiniest ones. So that's why I was chosen to help out with that. And I literally had to go inside her, find the baby, position it, and then pull it out. And it took 3 of us to actually pull the baby out. And I was so nervous because I really didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't want to hurt her. But we came to a place where the vet was like, do it or she's going to go. Like, you have to do this. You got this.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do it. And it happens, like she shows you. And once you're there, you have to do it. And then, like, everyone here are healers in their own way too. So Kat was also supporting with Reiki, and then I was supporting with medicine. Actually, that's why I was called at the beginning. They just wanted me to bring like some herbal medicine for Amber.
Like what kind?
Like tinctures, or like what I ended up doing. What worked best for her was infusions, and I used mostly red raspberry leaf. With molasses, and then we made kind of like some power balls for her. So we did a little bit of mugwort, oregano, black cohosh, and like a little bit of black cohosh tincture, yarrow, molasses, and then raspberry leaf, red raspberry leaf, strawberry leaf. I don't know if I'm forgetting one. there, and then just kind of like give that to her to help her with labor, and then after that to kind of like release the rest of the placenta and everything that needed to be passed.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really intense and also amazing, and I didn't even know that I could do that, as it usually happens.
Right.
But yeah, super empowering and just like eye-opening. Like, oh, serving the community means also like tending to the plants, tending to the animals, tending to the microcosmos underneath us, right? And then, yeah, like since then I've just been like bringing my flower essences and just bringing them for the goats and bringing them for the chickens, the bees, for the plants here. And it just like, yeah, like changed that perspective, which was really cool.
Wow. And how's Amber doing now?
Really good, really good. Yeah, this morning we heard that she's like 70%, 75% there. So she still has a long way to go, but we were really scared. Like the first couple of days, we were just like really, really scared. Like half of her uterus was outside, like hanging out. And we were like so rough with the birth that we didn't really want to like push it in, and the vet just recommended like supporting her with herbs and other like Western medicine and allow her body to do the work that she knows. And yeah, after a week now, or like over a week, she's doing way better.
That's
way
so
better.
good.
So we're so happy. Yeah, we also used like some topicals on her. So we did like a solution with like iodine and yarrow infused oil, and we just like kept the uterus moist. Like it's really important for it not to get dry, so the body can like take it in again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful and just expansive to show, it's not just humans that need herbal health. It's everyone can benefit from these beautiful medicines that come from the earth.
Absolutely. We all, and also that we all have something to share, right? And
yeah.
like, yes, it's amazing to know about the plants, and that has been my passion and just sharing that. But like at times I don't have anything, and to know the tools of like, I always have my breath. Like I can always offer breath. I can always offer song. I can always offer hair. I can always offer prayer. I do have all of that to offer, and we all do, like as long as we do our work and try to stay as clear as we can.
Right? Oh my gosh. That's just
to offer something.
It's so key.
Yeah.
So you recently you heard the call.
Yeah, I heard the call.
You heard the call to go on pilgrimage. What exactly is it? Like from where to where, and what are you doing in between?
The pilgrimage I did is called Camino de Santiago, and there are many different routes to follow. I followed Camino del Norte and then Camino Primitivo. It ends in Santiago de Compostela, and the remains of St. James are there. So it's a Christian route today. People do it for like many different reasons and many different things, and I didn't really have like a reason aside from that calling. But oh my gosh, I met so many people and so many amazing stories. Like my Camino bestie was a man from North Carolina that was shot in the heart. And
wow.
Like basically died for a little bit, came back to life, and then did Camino, kind of like to honor his brother that was also killed by a shotgun. And I mean, he was amazing. Like he was just an amazing
Shout out
man.
to
Shout out to David. If you ever see this, I love you so much. You're amazing.
That's a story right there. Oh
but so many, just like this, like so many stories. And then the important thing is that so before it being Christian, it was actually a route of pilgrimage for Gaelic and Celtic people as well. So it was pagan before being Christian. And the pagan tradition was walking all the way to the ocean from wherever. There are many different routes. So people would come from the Netherlands or from the now like so-called UK or France or whatever, and they would walk all the way to Finisterre, which was believed to be the end of the world. So they would just follow the sun west till to where the sun dies, and then they would burn their old selves. So in Finisterre, like there are like these big bonfires that people did, and you would burn something that represented like your old self before the pilgrimage.
Wow. And you're walking the whole way.
You're walking the whole way.
Carrying everything
with you. The cool thing about it is that you're very supported by the culture and the people. So you get to a town and there are albergues like specific for peregrinos, and they're so cheap. Like there might be like 10 euros or 15 euros. I mean, cheap compared to California and
Basically
like our
anywhere in the world
standards.
is cheap.
But yes, exactly. But like for the real world, I'm just trying to say like for the real world, I also understand that that can be expensive for someone else.
Right.
But just like from my
That.
context right now. So you can just like stay. I think that with
So you
like
would spend the
30
night-
euros a day,
Yeah.
you're good, like really good. You can rough it out for like maybe like
For, like,
20.
lodging, food.
Yeah, lodging, food, a coffee here and there.
Nice.
And
Gotta have
that's
a
it.
walk, coffee walk.
Yeah, coffee walk are good, like really, really amazing. And it was amazing. Like it was just life changing.
Tell us when did you first have that conscious awareness that the call was calling to you?
Yeah.
And what was that too?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, absolutely. So I don't remember, like, it's weird. I think about this all the time. I don't remember when I first learned about it. Like my first vivid memory is like 3 years ago. I go back to Mexico City. I'm at this party in one of like my brother's houses, Gabriel, and we're just partying there. And I just connect with this other brother, Rodrigo, and we start talking about Camino de Santiago. And we spent like the whole night, like probably like 5 hours, just daydreaming about Camino. Like he's an architect in Mexico City too. Like he wasn't brought up like outdoorsy or hiking or anything that I know of. And we're just like, can you imagine if we could go? Like, how would it be? Like, how could we do it? Like, how do we take enough time off to go do it? And just all of these things, right? And just like kind of joking, but also like really. And I'm an amazing planner. Like, I love to daydream and just kind of like plan adventures and things. And yeah, 90% of the time I don't do them.
You just love planning.
But yeah, it's just daydreaming and I love it.
Yeah.
And then 2 years after that, he walked.
Okay.
So he walked Camino del Norte last year, and just we were like connected while he was walking.
Cool.
And I was just like FOMO, like, oh my God, I want to do this. Like, this sounds so amazing. And I saw him coming back carrying the medicine of walking.
Oh,
you know,
wow. What did that look or feel like? Like, how did you know?
He was another person.
Wow.
Like, he was transformed, you know, like deeply, deeply healed. I guess he wasn't another person. I take that
was he
back.
more himself
But
than ever?
yeah, like his eyes were different, you know, like he was like a true pilgrim. Like I've never met a pilgrim in my life before him. And just carrying that whole experience with him and just sharing all of what he did. And yeah, I was just like, okay, I need to do this too. Like, this sounds amazing and it's totally my jam. And I can't ignore it. Like, this has been in my mind for 3 years, so I can't ignore it. So I'm just going to save up.
So it just kind of wouldn't go away.
It wouldn't go away. I feel like it sounds cliche, like, oh, what's the calling or what's the call? But to me, how that shows up in my life is something that won't go away, even if you want to ignore it. Like, it's just every day there, every day.
I think that's really important, though, because I think everyone has something that's calling to them, and sometimes it can be so close to you that you can't even recognize that it's calling to you until time has passed and it hasn't. It's like it's still there, and you wake up one day, you're like, oh wait, this is actually here.
Yes.
Like, this might mean something.
Absolutely.
Might matter.
And everywhere, right? Like, so like it was like in my dream space all the time. Like I do a lot of dream work and it was just appearing constantly, like maybe once a week, just like something about something about my friend, and then just talking to my friend about it, looking at his pictures, reading books. My partner gave me like a book about Camino and I started geeking out on it and looking at scallop shell. So the scallop shell is like the totem, or not the totem, but like the sign
symbol.
of the symbol of the Camino.
Cool.
And yeah, I started seeing them like all the time, everywhere. And then I was just like, okay, I'm going to save up money and just go do it. So for a year, that was just, and then train also. Like I'm reasonably fit, and I mean I do work at a farm, and I have other jobs. Like I'm a cook too, so I'm used to being on my feet and being very active. But I did wanted to train a little bit, and not amount of training prepared me for what happened.
What did you expect, and then what was it actually like?
I mean, San Diego is also pretty flat. Like, I did some hills and whatever, but nothing like that. Like, yeah, it was really, really intense. Like, Camino del Norte.
Spain, okay, yeah, it was.
I started in Irún, that is right by the border with France.
Okay.
North of Spain, so right by the ocean. And then the first 2-3 days, País Vasco are like, there are mountains. I mean, it's not like high mountain, but it's like hills, and it's really demanding. And when I first got there, it was pouring rain for 3 days.
Wow.
Like pouring rain. So I walked like 8 hours under the rain. I wasn't expecting that. Like, it doesn't rain that much in San Diego, so I haven't really trained like that.
You couldn't have even trained for rain.
No, not really. And then my pack was really heavy. Like, it was way heavier. I brought like a lot of stuff. I brought like a huge apothecary.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Of course. That was like my biggest thing. I was like messaging my herbalist friends and just like, what would you bring? Like, what are the absolute essentials? And I sent a box like back to Barcelona.
Wow. You decided
like, after a week, I was like,
pack.
yeah, I was like, I can't do this. And at the end, not at the end, like after a week or so, I was just carrying like 2 of everything. So like 2 pairs of socks, 2 pants, 2 leggings, 2 tops, and that was it. Like, that was all that I was carrying. And then I had a small backpack that all of my pilgrim friends made fun of me of, because I carried like a little kangaroo backpack in the front with all snacks.
Nice. That's so good. That's so legit.
I had like really tough first 3 days with all of that rain. I busted my knee, like my ligaments on day 2. Wow. So I was
fall?
like,
what happened?
No, it was just going downhill and just the effort of that and not being well trained, really.
Yeah.
So I struggled with that all the, like, it was on and off.
The whole
and
time.
I went to the doctor and they checked it out and they were just like, you're fine, you just need to stop walking. And I was like, okay, that's not an option right now. But I will wait. And then I took Primitivo route, which is the most, they say it's like the original route of the first king that went and discovered like the remains of St. James. And that is, I think, the most challenging route. So you do go through high mountain, like with super like thick fog, and I went to hell. Like, there was one day that I was really like in hell.
I mean, you were walking this, like, even though you had walking friends who were also pilgrims, you came alone.
Yes.
Like, you didn't come with a partner or a friend. You didn't know anyone.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone.
You
But
just
there are
showed up.
so many people in that same situation. Like, I met a lot of people, like women, young women by themselves, men, you know, families, couples for sure. But there's just like so many different paths of life, and we're all pilgrims there.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful. You really feel like I never had like this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm a monarch butterfly with this flow. Like, I'm a salmon in the flow with all my people, you know? And sometimes it was so much fun and we just like had wine and laugh it off. And we were just like a table of junior high schoolers, exhausted and just being dorky. And other times it was really like the broken heart club, you know, and just like looking at each other in our shadow, and everyone was broken and there was zero judgment because we're all the same and we all carry our wounds and our scars with pride, you know, and we're there because we want to work on them, because we want to like show up for ourselves and do something about it.
Yeah. Are there any, you know, feel free, you don't have to go there. Take us only as far as you want to go. But what kind of dark places did it take you to? And what was, Yeah, oh my gosh, so much. Yeah, so much. I feel like I honestly came back with homework for like 10 lifetimes. Wow.
And I just want to say real quick that I didn't finish. There was an emergency.
Well, yeah. What happened?
So there was like an emergency call. My husband needed emergency surgery. He had a ruptured appendix he didn't know of. So he had a ruptured appendix for 3 days when he finally got to the doctor.
Yeah. And when you got that call, what did you feel?
So at the beginning, it was just like, don't freak out. I'm good.
He said
and
that
I'm like,
to you.
yeah. And I'm like freaking out.
Right.
And he's like, I'm just going in for an appendicitis and I'll be out in 8 hours. So just like, like, I just want to let you know, like, say a prayer, but I'll be okay. Like, I'm going to be out in 8 hours.
Worries.
No worries.
Routine.
Yeah, it's like a tooth, And I was like, okay, call me. Like, at the beginning, I wasn't too worried. I was like, okay, like, I mean, I was worried, but I knew he was at the hospital, like he was taking care
of.
Like
brain surgery.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But then as time kind of like 8 hours later, he called me. He's like, I'm okay, but I did have like a ruptured appendix. Like, it was just like some complications. And I was like, okay, I'm out. So
and he was going to have to stay in the hospital.
Yeah, he ended up staying at the hospital for a whole week.
Wow.
So it took me 2 days to come back because I was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I had to like take a cab to the next biggish town and then a bus into Santiago. And I went into Santiago with my eyes closed because I didn't want to see anything unless I entered sometime as a pilgrim. And then a plane there to Barcelona, and then from Barcelona, to the States.
Wow. But what were you thinking? Like, it must have been really challenging to be on this, first pilgrimage of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then having to choose between completing this pilgrimage and your husband. What was going on in your thoughts and feelings?
It was really easy. Like, I feel like I walked for 31 days. So I was really, like, my heart was so clear. Like, by that time, I've just spent like hundreds of hours by myself in nature, like reading the environment and the signs and just allowing myself to receive the medicine of that Camino. Like, I was drinking spring water every day, nibbling on the plants from the Camino. Like, I was so clear in my heart that, okay, like, this is what I'm doing. Wow. Like, I'm going back. It doesn't matter. And Camino is not about the destination. I mean, it sounds such a cliche, but it's really about the everyday walk. It's really about the everyday gifts that you receive and the battles that you fight. And of course, I would have loved to like get there. And I think I'm going back next year to finish that last stretch. But I walked 830 kilometers.
Wow.
Like, I just had 100 kilometers left. So it's nothing, like, it's nothing. And I think that's the ultimate lesson. Let go even of the Camino.
Even of the Camino.
Yeah, because the Camino itself, you can't even be attached to the Camino itself, to your own path, because it changes. You're not in control. You're just flowing. So it was also great to receive that. And I'm not going to say it was the easiest thing. Like, of course, feelings come up and ideas and other things. Like, of course. And you have to, like, for me, I really had to, like, grieve and praise that at that moment to keep going. But it was, like, just right in my heart. Like, it just felt really easy for that. And I didn't answer about the shadow. All of
let's go there. You want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I just have like so much to share. But like, I made this one post one day, I think, that started like, I didn't know I was a warrior until I had to fight myself. And that was like every day, like, especially when it got like really tough and you're wet and hungry and cold. And just your demons start coming out, and it's like, you cannot do this. You can't do this. What are you thinking of? Who do you think you are? You're not a hiker. You're not an outside person. You're not a real pilgrim. You're just full of shit. Like, stop it. Just go back. Go to a hotel. Go back home. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. And you start believing that, and just fighting those ideas that are like, are this my own even? Is this even like coming from myself? Do I believe this? Or this is just like realizing like this is just ego, like my ego doesn't want to get out of the comfort zone. Like, I just want to be cozy, lazy, and shopping.
and planning.
Things that I'm never going to have the guts to do. And saying, no, I don't care about that. I'm not going to listen to you. And if you want to come, you can come and go as you came. But I'm going to keep going and just staying present, staying present with each and every single step. Fear was a huge one too, I had a really bad experience, I think, in last December. I was working with a caravan in Mexico and I was robbed and I had a gun to my face for like an hour. They tried to kidnap me. And then there was like a really weird like change of events where like the person that was robbing me gave me everything back and actually helped me out of there.
Wow.
Like my car was, I have like a little truck and it was stuck in the mud. So I couldn't leave. That's when like he approached me and then he just like shifted.
What do you think did that?
Just many things. Like I think a lot of it was, we were together for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So just like our conversation, just me talking to him, like telling him the truth. At the same time, they were not my words. Like it was like a channeling experience. It was not the first time I channeled. Like that has happened to me before, but not in a random setting. It was always
With
like in ceremony or in medicine. Yeah. Wow. And it was just like these things that were just these words that were flowing through me that I don't know if they were like my grandma's or someone else. Yeah. And just telling them the truth, you know, like I'm here in service. I'm helping out. My car is full of medicine. Like, please allow me to deliver this. You're never going to see my face again. Just being real and asking him for a second chance in life.
Wow.
Telling him also that I was not going to go with him, that he could not take me and that he could do whatever he needed to do. But like I wasn't willing to go there. And if that was my life, I was okay with that.
Wow. You were like, if you're going to, that's it. I'm not going with you. If that means you want to kill me, that I'm okay with.
Do what you gotta
you just
do.
stood your ground.
Yeah.
I have chills. That's like the bravest.
Crazy. And that's so not me. Like in a crazy situation like that, like if I imagine myself in a situation like that or even before, like I would probably imagine myself like sobbing, crying hysterically and like
freaking
not
out.
being able to. I wasn't crying. I was like looking at him like in his eye and just having a conversation. And again, this wasn't me, right?
Wow.
Like it was just something else. Wow. And then there was Virgen de Guadalupe. I had an image. And a lot of people in Mexico are like real like believers in Tonantzin. So I think that also like changed his heart a lot. He was like, oh, okay.
I mean, you're a healer and you walk with that vibe. It's like,
it was really, it was surreal. Like I still don't understand what happened. Yeah. I don't understand. But then he helped me out. He helped me out of there. I got out. He didn't really take anything. He gave me back everything. He gave me back the last thing. He was about to run off. And I'm like, dude, I need my wedding ring.
Oh my God. That is amazing.
And as I heard myself, I'm like, what am I thinking? Like, this is my life and I'm thinking about my ring?
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, sorry, like, here you go.
I wonder where he is now. Like, did that change his life? Who knows? Like, that's...
At the end, he just took like $200 from me.
Which is just cash like that.
Yeah, nothing. Wow. Like, I had so much cash for the clinic. Like, I had like thousands of dollars with me and he didn't take... He gave them back. Yeah, it was really, really crazy.
Wow.
I didn't know what happened to him. Like, I heard... So, once I like got off of there, who came to help me were, they're called autodefensas. I'm not sure, but it was just kind of like a community police kind of thing. And then they told me that they went after him and he got hit.
Got hit?
By the other car. So I never knew if he like died, if he was like scared off, if he... I didn't know. I never knew. Like, of course, he was just a person.
We're going to go there because so the day that I got here, I'm like tearing up. I didn't know that happened to you. I had no idea.
You didn't know? Wow.
I didn't know. And if you had posted about it or something, I just didn't see that post. I don't know. We hadn't talked about it. And I was just tuning into the energy of our meeting, and before we got together, even before we met for lunch and everything, just that yesterday morning, and I was just tuning in, and I was just noticing like who are the spirits showing up, what's the energy showing up, and I literally saw a man holding a gun to your head.
Oh my God!
And I just spoke to him and helped him cross over.
Oh my God!
And he was so grateful.
Oh wow!
I'm like, I don't know if that it was him, if he did die, if that was him. But I was like, that is so weird. And oftentimes when I'm tuning in and seeing, like, I've never seen someone holding a gun to someone's head. And this man was just like the spirit man was just holding a gun to your head, holding a gun to your head, holding a gun to your head. And it felt like he had been doing this for a while and just like hanging out
in
this space. And he just needed help. he just needed help. And so I've never seen that before in helping spirits. So
wow,
that was
thank you so much for doing that also for myself.
yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Because it also ties in with pilgrimage. Like, I had that huge fear of being by myself.
Wow.
And like that idea, not that man, honestly, like I just I did a lot of work like right after that. And I worked with like a traditional healer and I released him and forgave him and all of that. But just to be honest, like the PTSD, it's like it wasn't really like my mind. It was really like my body reacting to like being alone and just being so vulnerable, so open, just like being by myself, having nothing. Or even if I did have something, like I have zero training, or I would never know like how to use anything else aside from my word.
And you're channeling. I mean, you're you're tuned in. So.
But yeah, all of a sudden you're like in the middle of the forest and your body starts freaking out. Yeah. Just like, okay, like someone can come right now with a gun, put it in your head, rape you, kill you, and like this torture you.
A real possibility,
you know, like this is a real possibility that could happen. And again, I come from like a background from a country where like that could happen, you know, and in the States it can happen as well. Yeah. In Europe or in Spain, in my experience, that could never, I would say like almost like that would be impossible for it to happen. It's really well taken care of, and pilgrims are like a huge priority for the government, but also for communities, like the people from towns and everything, like they take really good care of them. Even. Yeah. I mean, there are like little towns that probably like are alive and thriving because of the cash flow that brings pilgrimage. Wow. So we're really, really good taken care of, and pilgrims really show up for each other. And there's a lot of pilgrims with PTSD.
Wow, I bet.
So we're really there for each other, you know, like if someone gets triggered, and a lot of, I mean, it didn't happen like all of the time, but it happened to me probably like 2 or 3 times. One of them I was with my friend David, and then 2 other times I was by myself. One time, and then the other 2 times, like I just kind of like had a crisis, and someone showed up, like an angel showed up, like just another pilgrim was there to help me out and just walk with me and just be like, I'm gonna walk with you, and we got this. My friend Marit also, and then Adela, my other friend, was just one day that I had like a complete breakdown. Like my blood pressure just dropped. I was throwing up on the Camino, like shaking, crying, and just so like full on anxiety attack
from the PTSD.
Yeah, just from being like super scared. And that day was also like the fog was really intense, and I had like this one little seed planted in my mind that I was probably going in circles because I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see like a mountain or a lake. I didn't have like any reference except for like a couple of feet in front of me and then fog.
And it all looked the same.
So after 4 hours, like after an hour, I was like, maybe I'm going in circles. And then after 2 hours, I was like, I think I am lost. And then after 3 hours, and then like after like 4 hours of walking by myself and seeing no one, I like broke down completely. And then someone showed up. Adela was there, and she was like, hey, you look really pale. Would you like a piece of chocolate? And I was just like, yes, thank you. And she saved me, man. She was just like, okay, perfect. Like I took that, and then I was like, of course, I need to eat something. Like what I need is sugar right now. And I had all my snacks with me, so I like pulled out.
Yeah, so it's such a reminder that we so often can forget even when we've prepared.
Yes. You carry all your toolkit in your basket, and you forget the important thing that is self-care. Remember to take care of yourself. Remember to drink water, you know? And I think it was also purging. Like I also needed that in that Camino, you know? Like I needed to break down. I needed to like kind of like hit Camino rock bottom. And being there like shaky, bottom. Like super, like all wet, freezing cold, throwing up. And then for me to like, and after that, oh my gosh, it was beautiful. Like I probably walked for another hour in the fog, and then once I was on the top, like the sky opened for me, and it was just divine, you know. It was one of those moments where it's like,
The angels singing from the
Angels
heavens.
singing from heavens, like feeling the sun in your skin after like a couple of days of being like really, really cloudy, just feeling the sun in your skin. And then I saw wild horses for the first time in my life, just like a whole herd, babies, mamas, and they just walk like right next to me. And it was just beautiful. Like I even had a chance of like taking my phone out and take like a couple of pictures and a video. And just like willing to receive, like just open to receive the blessings of life, of being here now, you know? And yeah, after that, it was just everything changed. Like
Wow.
I walked for like maybe like 5 days after that.
Yeah.
And after that, everything changed. Like it was just like the spirits of all the pilgrims were like, we did that. Like everything is easy now. Like even if we went from like a little mountain or whatever, or a big one, we were just like, we got this, you know? Like we came out of there strong. And yeah, there were not like as many tears or like sad tears. It was all about like celebration and being happy that we're alive, that we got this. Yeah, and then like 4 days before finishing was when I came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But you've learned so much, and you've shared some of that here in your story of like the power of non-attachment and the power of the purging and releasing, and it's just so you can be free and be present and
completion
receive.
too. Like it can be in many different ways, right? Like a destination is not always what comes like full circle.
What's complete for you?
Yeah, what's complete for you? Like, yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. What did you really walk away with from El Camino? What do you carry now because of your experience?
Oh, Natalie, you're killing me.
I'm helping you live.
So much. No, so much. Yeah, it was just like a truly healing experience and life transforming for sure. Like it was like a vision adjuster, just like, oh, here are your glasses. Now you can really see.
Oh, wow. It came into focus.
Yeah, it came into focus for sure. I think two things. Like one of them is believe, like faith, and not in a Christian way, but really
Unless you're Christian, that's cool.
believing.
But you're speaking of an expanded.
Absolutely. That is totally
belief.
cool. I'm just thinking, like, for myself, what came through is just kind of like believing in myself, my own strength, and then how am I connected to what is around me and what surrounds me, and how I am in relationship with water, plants, animals, each other, other pilgrims, and seeing the divinity of that, which is truth.
Right. And that's
And
that
then
trust and
no questions asked, you know, like just the knowing of that in your heart. That's what I mean by believing, and like faith for myself.
beautiful faith in that, just your source is running through you, supporting you.
Absolutely.
It's here,
And
even
it's
through the
the
tough
same,
stuff.
and it's the same that runs through you.
And through this
and
grape.
through this grape.
And through the wind.
Everything, like truly everything, how everything is really alive, and we're all it sounds so cheesy, but like
It's not,
we
though.
really
It's,
are
like,
all
the
one.
best, yeah.
And I'm not saying that the work is done, we just have to believe that everything is great and
Right.
we're all like peace and love. Like, no, there's a lot of work to do.
It's just beginning.
But just that realization, like that gift of realization,
Yeah.
and then doing the work so that it is truly equal, and that we can all truly like see that beyond all this like system BS.
Right.
And then the other part is just like showing up, you know, like showing up to your personal Camino. Like Camino is not only about pilgrimage, just realizing like this is what you do every day, and answering the call of whatever, and just really, it doesn't matter how you do it, you know. Like I've got like some people ask, I'm part of this forums online that we help each other out as pilgrims, or like that people that want to go on pilgrimage. And I had some like amazing mentors out there. I actually reached out to a friend here in San Diego, Bernie, and he was kind of like a little bit like my mentor. He like trained with me a little bit. He even gave me like his scallop shell.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. Shout out, Bernie, you rock. You're amazing. And now I do that a little bit for others. And they're like, how, like a question that I've been asked a couple of times is, how do you find the courage to go on pilgrimage. Like, I want to do this, but I don't have the courage, like I don't have the will to. I'm scared and I'm fearful. And I was too, like I always answer the truth that I am fearful too. And it's scary to go in an adventure like that. And I walked for 31 days into the unknown, like in the void, just not knowing anything, And it doesn't matter how you show up. Just go, like just do your thing. And you don't have to go to Spain. You don't have to go on a huge hike. Like you can do whatever. Like that can mean taking care of yourself, like that can mean prep a bath, a healing bath, or cook yourself your own meal or whatever. Like it can look like so many different ways. And it doesn't matter if you're fearful. It doesn't matter if you're self-doubt yourself. It doesn't matter. Like you're stronger than you're ever gonna know. And the Camino will strip everything away. Like it doesn't matter because you're gonna receive what you're really like supposed to. And you just need to be ready to receive. If you're not ready to receive, then for sure, don't do it because it's probably just going to send you, it's going to give you like so many lessons, but you're going to be close to them. So it's going to be even harder. Don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. Just show up, be there.
Show up. I love that. I feel like that's a great message to kind of transition on is show up. Show up for yourself. Show up for the unknown. Show up for that call. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. Well, we can record for like 800 hours.
Totally.
Right? So that's amazing. And people can tell us where people can find you.
Reach out. I can leave my email. I have an Instagram account. I don't have like any business or anything else super formal, but I'm available. I'm open. Shoot me an email. If you're on Instagram, follow me, send me a little message. That's where I post like whenever I host classes or I have like a small batch line of things that I craft. Let's connect. Awesome.
Yeah, and your La Lunaria on Instagram, and we'll link to all that in the show notes. And so everyone can just look, if you're on YouTube, look on the description. If you're on iTunes or podcast, it'll be in the show notes at earthspeak.love or in just even your episode show notes. Just check it out. So reach out, connect.
Definitely.
I love your Instagram feed because it's so genuine and earth connected and beautiful. It's like, it's just... I don't know. It's just lights me up to look at it. So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And honestly, like most of the pictures are just like farm pictures, and I just get like the gift of pulling out my cell phone and just capturing like a beautiful mother moment. I also try to show up genuinely and as a real person. So I have a lot of like emo posts that freak my parents out.
Oh, good. That's good. Then you know you're doing it right.
Definitely. So I share a lot of like dark stuff as well. And and my wounded self sometimes shows up as well. So welcome.
Welcome to the party. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing this.
Thank you so much. It's been so great, and we still have
so much more coming, so stay tuned.
Absolutely.
If you enjoyed this, leave a comment and share it with a friend. Next up, we'll be interviewing and channeling our first plant spirit guest, so subscribe and stay tuned. Our music is by Scarlet Crow, and the song is called It's Easier. And get to know more about Earth Speak, our team, and what we do at earthspeak.love. I think you'll really appreciate our psychedelic, grounded, earthy feel. So go check us out and learn more. earthspeak.love.